Hassan, mic mute करें. I will be starting in 1 minute.
Okay, sir.
Okay, Assalamu alaikum everyone. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. We are going to start the webinar. We start one. Okay. Share my screen. Starting. I'll bring that one. Okay, everybody can see my screen. Hello.
Yes, sir, we can see.
Okay, thank you very much. Now we are starting the today's we are going to discuss आज के topic ये है economic substance regulation in UAE, which changes which have been recently you see that there have been changes been done in the ESR and ESR in UAE. This key changes update which has been shared is that changes in definition, license, exempt license, out of scope, treatment of branches, M&E group, connected person or group, changes in scope of certain relevant activity, distribution and service center business and holding companies, revision of penalties, changes in role of authorities, what are ESR test and filing of the reporting requirement, how to file ESR notification report on MOF Ministry of Finance portal, license that have already submitted notification directly to their regulatory authorities are required to resubmit the notification in accordance to the provision of new ESR at the MOF portal. Deadline is 31st October 2020. Today's our expert are Ms. Alia Noor and Ahsan Talab. So just to give you a brief about the Ahmad Al Akbari Chartered Accountants, we are an auditing and consulting firm. We have 4 offices in UAE, 2 in Dubai, 1 in Sharjah, 1 in Ras Al Khaimah. Our line of services are accounting, auditing, tax, actuarial work, corporate finance, incorporation, liquidation services, outsource, payroll, business consultancy, and information technology. This talking about the ESR, this first time the ESR came on 30th April 2019. The UAE cabinet issued the cabinet ministerial resolution 31st of 2019 concerning economic substance regulation in UAE, requiring all in scope UAE entities, relevant entities that carry on certain activities relevant to have demonstrable economic substance in UAE from 30th April 2019. ESR basically is been enforced in different part of the world, not only UAE, in all over the world, all the major free zones and offshore authorities. ESR is already implemented over there. This reason for implementation of ESR in UAE, the introduction of ESR UAE brings UAE in line with the other jurisdiction. As I've already mentioned, recently issued economic regulation substance in Cayman Island, Bermuda, Mauritius, even in Labuan, Malaysia, the ESR level, regulations are enforced, and affirm that UAE commits to the addressing concern of around shifting of profit derived from certain mobile business activities to no or nominal tax jurisdiction without corresponding local economic activity. I will just give you a layman language that whatever activities, if you are invoicing, you are earning revenues in UAE, that the expenses, correspondence expenses are being incurred in UAE. There you have to prove that one, that you are not only invoicing only for UAE and the other activities have been done abroad from other part of the world. So I will not go in more details, and I would request uh, Asan to have his expert comments about these ESR regulations which is in force and what changes it been done in the new ESR regulations. To Asan. Asan, please.
Hi, I have to do this part.
Okay, no problem. Then you go ahead, and Asan will be
Okay.
doing later on. No problem. Alia, please proceed.
Okay. Hi, my name is Alia Noor, and I'm working at 𝐷𝐻𝐿 Chartered Accountants and 𝐿IA Consultant as Director VAT. In this segment, I would assist you in navigating through the key changes that you need to incorporate in your revised notification and ESR report. In August 2020, significant changes have made in economic substance regulation via Cabinet Minister Resolution 57 of 2020 and updated guidance Ministerial Decision 100. All licenses that have already submitted a notification directly to their regulatory authorities are required to resubmit a notification in accordance with the provision of the new ESR at the MOF portal, and which deadline is 31st December 2020. So all businesses in UAE need to reassess the implication of these changes on their businesses and their compliance status. So let's start through the first section, that is ESR testing and reporting. As per Article 4.4 or updated ESR, amended ES regulation confirms that notification must be filed electronically on MOF portal within 6 months of the licensee financial year end. Licensee that have already submitted a notification for the financial year ended 31st December 2019 directly to their relevant authorities are required to resubmit a notification in accordance with the provision of the new ESR on the MOF portal. Now, we have collected so many queries regarding the filing dates in advance. So I will navigate through the filing dates queries first. Now, if you are a company whose financial year is starting from 1st January 2019 and ending in 31st December 2019, your first assessable period would be 1st January 2019 till 31st December 2019. We will in next section navigate through the MOF portal how you need to file the notification. Now, for example, second category, if you're a company and your financial year starts from 1st April 2019 and ends as 31st March 2020 financial year, your first assessable period would be 1st April 2019 till 31st March 2020. And you do not need to comply with the regulation for the period from 1st January 2019 till 31st March 2019. The third example is if you are a UAE company with financial year starting from 1st July 2018 and it ends in 30th June on 2019, your first assessable period would be 1st July 2019 till 30th June 2020. So you do not need to comply with the regulations for the period falling from 1st July 2018 till 30th June 2019. Let's have a more elaborated table that MOF has issued. In MOF portal, you will be giving a time period to fill. So any period starting from 1st January 2019 till 31st December 2019, you have to file notification 31st December 2020 and reporting same date 31st December 2020. If your financial year ends anytime between 31st January 2020 till 30th June 2020, you also need to file your notification 31st December 2020. And the reporting filing deadlines will be for 31st January 2020 would be 31st January 2020 year, that is subsequent year. For February 2020, it will be February 2021. Similarly, for March 2020 financial year end, the reporting will be 2021 March. Similarly, for April, May, and June. Now, there is another update in new ESR, that is modification in the contents of the ESR notification and report. All licensing carrying out a relevant activity will now need to identify in their notification reports the jurisdiction in which the parent company, ultimate parent company, and ultimate beneficial owner claims to be tax residents. This section we will also navigate through in next section, which Mr. Essen will navigate through the MOF portal. Now, point here to note is that licensee will need to revisit and amend internal information sharing policies, especially with regard to ownership. A copy of financial statements may also be required for submission, like in case of providing evidence for exemptions. Similarly, it doesn't say that you need to provide an audited financial statement. They may ask you, if you don't have an audited financial statement, they can ask you for management accounts as well. Third criteria is the new thing which is added in updated ESR is compliance during liquidation. So as per article 3.6, in earlier version, liquidation was silent on this subject. Licensee carrying out relevant activities will need to meet ESR compliance requirement even during the course of liquidation. What does that mean? That means that if your entity is in liquidation or being wound up, it must continue to satisfy the economic substance test for any period during which it carries out a relevant activity and drives relevant income. Note that you have to satisfy economic substance test for any period in which you carried out a relevant activity and drive relevant income. This would include full adherence to complete the notification and reporting requirements prescribed under the ESR regulation. Now, moving to the next changes, that is in function of relevant authorities and FTA. Under original ESR, relevant authorities were assigned complete responsibility and were expected to fully and solely administer ESR for their licensee. However, under updated ESR, roles and responsibilities are split between the FTA and the relevant authorities as follows. Now, the FTA, Federal Tax Authority, will undertake assessment to determine whether substance tests are met, impose administrative penalties, hear and decide on appeals, provide information to the competent authority. For example, in case of licensee did not meet the economic substance test, are high-risk IP licenses, are foreign tax resident, are branches of a foreign entity, the relevant income of which is subject to tax outside the UAE. FTA will report other information to MOF as required. Now, what will relevant authorities do? They will collect notification, reports along with supporting documents, review the accuracy and completeness. They will assess whether an exempted licensee has submitted sufficient evidence, report information to FTA, MOF as required. Another feature which has been included is the exchange of information. Under new ESR, the competent authority, MOF, will exchange information with relevant foreign competent authorities in the following circumstances. Licensee failed to satisfy the ES test. Licensee is a high-risk IP license. UAE entity claims to be tax residents in a jurisdiction outside the UAE. The UAE branch of a foreign entity claims to be subject to tax in a jurisdiction outside the UAE. There has been changes in some of the definitions. Let's navigate through them. The changes are in the category of licensee, exempted licensee, branches, relevant income. There is a definition of connected person or group and M&E group. First, we'll discuss the licensee as per Article 3.1. Under original ESR, a natural or judicial person licensed by the competent licensee authorities in the UAE to carry out a relevant activity in the UAE. That includes free zone and a financial free zone. This definition has been modified under new ESR. The definition of a licensee is either a judicial person incorporated inside, outside the UAE, or an unincorporated partnership without separate legal personality that carries on a relevant activity. Now, what would that be? For example, a limited liability company, a private shareholding company, a public shareholding company, a joint venture company, a partnership, for example, limited liability partnership, limited partnership, general partnership. So what has been excluded? Excluded it a natural person. So if you fall under natural person, sole proprietor, trust, or foundation that were considered as licensee under the original ES regulation, you are no longer in scope of ES regulation, and therefore you do not need to file a notification or meet the economic substance test. I will repeat again. If you fall under natural person, sole proprietors, trust, or foundation, you are no longer in scope of ES regulation, and therefore you do not need to file a notification or meet the economic substance test. Now, the second change in definition is in category of exempted licenses under Article 3.2. Under original ESR, exempted licensee was defined as those which were directly or indirectly at least 51% owned by the federal or an emirate government or a UAE government body or authority. Such licensee were required to file notification with respective government authorities, regulatory authorities. Under revised ESR, there are 5 categories which undertake relevant activities in the UAE. Number 1, tax resident outside the UAE. If you are an investment fund, if your entity is wholly owned by UAE resident, if UAE branches, foreign head office or parent, or MOF issues a decision. These 5 categories fall under exempt licensing. Let's go by one. The first category, if you are a UAE entity resident outside the UAE. So you are an exempt license, but for claiming exemption, you have to provide documentary evidence, and to claim exemption, you need to file a notification. The UAE entity will need to submit in prescribed documents, for example, tax residency certificate or any letter or documentation issued by the tax authority in the foreign jurisdiction in which it claims to be a tax residence, evidencing that it is treated as locally tax resident entity in that foreign jurisdiction. These are to avoid double taxation. If you are tax resident in another jurisdiction, you have to provide these claim evidence to claim exemption. The second category of exempt licensee is investment fund. Earlier, it was out of scope. Now, those companies which fall under the definition of investment funds needs to file a notification. The definition of an investment fund under the updated guidance would include the investment fund itself and any entity through which fund directly and indirectly invest, but not the entity or entities in which the fund ultimately invest. The third category under exempt licensee is entities, those are wholly owned by UAE residents. Entities that are wholly owned by UAE resident and that meet 2 criteria, that is, they are not part of a multinational group and they do not carry out business activities in the UAE. they have to provide documentary evidence and file a notification. What are the exemption proof they have to provide? Shareholder register, structure chart, proof of nationality or residency of shareholders. For example, copy of UAE passport, UAE residency visa, copy of financial statements for the relevant period, or management accounts if financial statements are not available. If you have financial statements, you will provide the audited financial statements. If you do not have, you will provide management accounts, but you do need to file a notification. The fourth category is UAE branches of foreign head office or parent company. If you are a UAE branch of a foreign company and whose relevant income is subject to tax in the jurisdiction of the foreign head office parent, like you are UAE branch of foreign head office operating in UAE and your relevant income is subject to tax in that jurisdiction where your head office parent company is. You need to provide documentary evidence that, and you need to file a notification as well. UAE branches of a foreign companies in countries which either do not have a corporate tax regime or where the UAE branch income is not reported to tax in the foreign parent's tax return, irrespective of exemption or tax relief, you will not be entitled to exemption. The fifth category is any licensee for whom the MOF issues a decision to grant it capacity of an exempt license. Now coming to the treatment of branches as per Article 3.1. As branches do not have separate legal personalities from their parent or head office, they are not regarded as licensee under new ESR. The guidance clarifies how branches and their parent or head office are required to comply with ES regulation. There are three criteria defined. If you are a UAE branch of a UAE business, if you are a UAE branch of a foreign business, if foreign branches of a UAE business. Number one, UAE branch of a UAE business. Under new ESR, the UAE business must file a single notification and an economic substance report, if applicable, to report the relevant activities of itself and all its UAE branches. Means you are a UAE business and you have branches in UAE in different emirates. You will file a single notification for your company and your branches. Second is UAE branches of a foreign company or foreign businesses. The UAE branch is not subject to ES regulation if its relevant income is reported in the tax return of the foreign parent head office. But you need to file a notification along with supporting evidence. Number third category is foreign branch of a UAE business. The UAE business does not need to report and demonstrate economic substance in the UAE related to the relevant activities of a foreign branch, provided that the foreign branch is subject to tax on its relevant income in the foreign jurisdiction. But in this case, you need to file a notification along with supporting evidence. Now moving forward to relevant income as per Article 3.5. In earlier version of ESR, the term was not defined. Under updated ESR, relevant income is now defined as all gross income of an entity from a relevant activity, that is recorded in its books and records under applicable accounting standards, whether earned in the UAE or outside the UAE, irrespective of whether the entity has derived profit or loss from the activity. Now, who needs to file a notification and a ESR, perform ESR test and report ESR? Let's summarize. If your entity is not a licensee, and we have discuss who are licensee. If you are not a licensee, you do not need to file notification. You do not need to perform ESR test. You do not need to file ESR report. If your entity does not carry or are relevant activities, there are 9 relevant activities. If your company does not carry on relevant activities, you do not need to file a notification, perform ESR test, or report ESR. Number third, if you are a licensee carrying out relevant activity but does not drive relevant income, in that case, you need to file only notification. You do not need to perform ESR test or report ESR. In scenario 4, if you are a licensee carrying out a relevant activity but claims exempt licensee status, you only need to file notification. In fifth category, if you are a licensee carrying out a relevant activity and you drive relevant income also, you carried out relevant activity and drive relevant income, then you have to comply with all reporting obligation. You have to file notification, you have to file ESR report, you have to perform ESR test. Another new definition defined under new ESR is connected person or group under Article 1 Cabinet Resolution. Under original ESR, connected person was defined as a natural or juridical person who is related to one or more juridical person through direct or indirect ownership or control or common control. Group, there was no definition of group. Now, under updated ESR, connected person is defined as an entity that is part of the same group as the licensee or the exempted licensee, whereas group is defined as 2 or more entities related through ownership or control such that they are required to prepare consolidated financial statement for financial reporting purposes under the accounting standards applicable. A natural person is no longer included in the definition of a connected person. Moving forward to M&E group definition, there was no concept of M&E group under the original issued regulation. Now, M&E group is defined as any group that includes 2 or more entities, the tax resident of which is in different jurisdiction, or an entity that is resident for tax purpose in one jurisdiction and is subject to tax with respect to activities carried out through branch permanent establishment in another jurisdiction. Now, there has been changes in certain relevant activities in 2 categories, distribution and service center business and holding companies. Let's do one by one. In distribution business, under original ESR, there were 3 components. You need to purchase goods from a foreign group company and then import and storage of such goods into the UAE and then sale of such goods to anyone outside the UAE export transactions. However, under ESR, distribution business, updated ESR says that you need to purchase from a connected person, same as previous, component parts or material for goods or goods ready for sale, and resale and distribution of such components, parts, material or goods. The part of import and storage of such goods into the UAE has been excluded. So there is no longer requirement for the goods to be imported and stored in the UAE and selling goods outside the UAE for an entity to be considered a distribution and service center business. Entities which are engaged in transactions such as third port shipment, high sea sales, bill to ship to transaction, etc. would now be covered if goods are purchased from foreign group company and resold. The law stipulates that those entities which are only purchasing goods from third parties are not subject to the regulation. It has to be purchased from a foreign connected group or foreign connected person. Service center business, under original ESR, service center business includes consulting, administrative, or other services provided to a foreign group company in connection with the foreign group company's business outside the UAE. Under updated ESR, it includes consulting, administrative, or other services provided to a foreign group companies. Again, the law stipulates that UAE entities that only provide services to third parties are not subject to the regulation. For holding company, under original ESR, holding company businesses were licensees carrying out activities in the state as its primary function, the acquisition and holding of shares or equitable interest in other companies, and does not carry out any other commercial activity. Holding company businesses were issued license by the authority as holding business, whereas holding company was defined as meaning as set out in the law governing such activity in the state. Under new updated ESR, holding company business is defined now as one that meets these two criteria: has sole function of acquisition and holding of shares or equitable interest in other companies, and only earn dividend and capital gains from its equitable interest. Holding company business licenses issued by authority has been removed. Under revised ESR, there is no definition of a holding company. There has been reduced ESR test requirement for holding company businesses, such as holding company business is subject to reduced substance requirement as follows. It should comply with existing reporting compliance requirement under the regulation applicable to the licensee and have adequate employees and physical assets, for example, premises. A holding company business does not require to be directed and managed in the UAE, subject to each regulatory authority's own regulation, and have to demonstrate adequate expenditure in the UAE. Moving forward to the changes. In ESR tests, there has been changes in 3 categories. Number 1, earlier ESR requires at least 1 board meeting in each financial year. This clause has been removed. Under new ESR, should be adequate number of board meetings in every financial year, depending upon level of activity being carried out by the licensee. In direction and management of a company, under new ESR, the board members or equivalent are not required to be resident in the UAE. However, the board members or equivalent are required to be physically present in the UAE when taking strategic decisions. Number 3, outsourcing of core generating activities. Under new ESR, a licensee may outsource activities which are not core generating activities to parties outside the UAE, such as back office function, IT, payroll, legal services, or other expert professional advice or specialist services provided. The last is the changes in penalties that has been increased. If you fail to submit notification, the penalty has been fixed to 20,000. Earlier, there was range between 10,000 to 50,000 AED. In case you fail to submit economic substance report or fail to meet the economic substance test, the updated ESR for first financial year, the fixed penalty is 50,000. In subsequent year, it is 400,000 fixed, and may also impose suspension, revocation, or non-renewal of the license. In case of penalty for providing inaccurate information, is fixed 50,000 AED. Earlier, it was 10,000 to 50,000. Now, these are the changes which were main changes in economic substance regulation under new ESR. Now we will move to Mr. Essen for MOF portal's submission.
Alia,
should we take
yes,
the question answers first?
Yes, first question answers are there, and I think SNF answered the questions, and meanwhile SN is giving the presentation. You can review the questions, answer which SN have given. If further clarification required, you can give the further clarification. I think already there was 8 answer, only 2 is left over, and 8 SNF already answered these questions. And with the end of SN presentation, we will ask again if there is some somebody is not clear about this question, can you stop the presentation, Alia?
Yeah, please. Sure.
So what I'm talking about, that Ahsan will start the presentation and he have already answered questions. Just Alia, go and review these answers, and if any further clarification you can write down, and after the end of Ahsan's presentation, we'll again go and ask the question answer section. We'll go over there. So to you,
Thank you very much,
Ahsan,
sir.
and hopefully everybody is with us and understanding. If there's something they don't understand, they can raise the question, and after Ahsan's presentation, again we'll come back to you for the question answer session. Thanks to you, Ahsan.
Thank you very much, Mr. Asif, Sir Asif Saman, and thanks, Ms. Alia, for your insights into ESR. I hope you can hear me well. So we are just reviewing the ESR in more detail with the key changes which came in effect from August 2020, and a lot of parties has been covered by Ms. Alia. So what I'm going to show you about how to file the notifications for ESR reporting and also ESR report. So just bear with me. So I believe you can see my screen now. So we have to go on mof.gov.ae and search for economic substance regulation, and where we need to create an account for our company. If you just scroll down, there is a button, economic substance filing portal. So actually I'm already logged in as a sample user. So the dashboard will come in front of you. So let me try to close this one. Sign out. So to create an account, it's a simple step. Just create an account. Normally people confuses with it. So you have to make a corporate account with your email ID, the name of the company, password, confirm password, and here the important thing is your type is corporate, and the phone number with your office address, and you will get the create account. And in this way, you will get the link onto your inbox. So after that, you have to activate from your inbox, and you will divert it to the MOF website. Just one moment. So here you will come up on the screen, which is economic substance notification, and they will define you what is the purpose of the notification to provide the regulatory authorities whether you are uh, under the business of relevant activities or not. So here we will press next. Quite simple. So there are many of activities mentioned which are falling under the relevant activities: banking, insurance, investment, lease finance, headquartered businesses, shipping businesses, holding company businesses, IP businesses, and distribution and service center businesses. So this is the kind of detailed guidelines how to file the notification. We will, Ms. Alia has already gone through with these. And there is also the description of the non-compliance fine for 20,000, and for providing incorrect information, the penalty may be reach up to 50,000. So here we will press next, and here we have to. So this is the part A of the notification, and Here we need to provide the licensing name as per the license, whether the license is dual or single, because many authorities are providing dual licenses nowadays. Here is the number of the license. The license authority will come onto this one. For many of the companies which are on the mainland, they could go into Ministry of Economy. So it is little bit confusing part. They cannot find here DD. So the Dubai Development Dubai Economic Development Department, they cannot find here, so they have to go into Ministry of Economy. But in our case, it is DMCC. We need to provide place of establishment, whether mainland or free zone, your office address, and your legal form. So we have to scroll down menu here, branch of a foreign company, partnership, or limited liability company. And if you are VAT registered, you have to provide your VAT. So in part B, you have to suggest which activity you are engaged in. If you are falling under the relevant activity, let's say we say yes here, and so we are not going to notify for any branch. And here we have to designate the reportable period. So ESR implementation has been done for the reporting period starting from 1st of Jan 2019 till 31st of December 2019. Mostly companies could have a different year end, so we have to see that one accordingly. So here we will press next. So here we will decide which relevant activity we are under the scope of ESR. We say yes. There will be further options came in here. So let's say we click on distribution and service center. And you have to tell them whether you have earned any income on it or not. Let's say in our case it is yes. Did the licensor earn income from the relevant activity during the reportable period? Because many companies haven't yet start earning on their licenses, so they may say no. And the second question is the income earned from the relevant activity subject to tax outside the UAE? So in our case, it will be no. And who is your regulatory authority? So again, you have to identify which is the regulatory authority dealing with your company. So in the next part, again, there are, as Ms. Alia has told, there are exemptions, and we are not exempted anyways. But let me show you the options we have. Let's say we say yes, we have option 1A, which confirms that the licensee is wholly owned by UAE national or UAE resident individuals that reside in the UAE and not a part of multinational group and only operates in the UAE. Okay, so on this basis we can apply for exemption, but we need to provide substantial amount of evidence that we are UAE resident and our commercial transactions are in the UAE. The second part, 1B, the confirm the license is an investment fund as defined in the regulations. So as per the law, if we are part of investment fund, if engage in investment fund business, then we can claim exemption. In 1C, I confirm that the license is a special purpose vehicle or investment holding company of investment fund as defined in the regulations. So again, if you are a SPV, special purpose vehicle, just engage in the businesses of investment holding, then you can still claim exemption, and you need to provide the substantial amount of evidence from your regulatory authority and from your registrar also. I confirm that on the next one, 1D, I confirm that licensee is a resident of tax purpose in the jurisdiction other than UAE. So this is the major part where it is referred to the ministerial decision 100, where many foreign entities, they have a branches and subsidiaries here in the UAE, but when they are doing consolidation abroad in their jurisdiction, the parent's company jurisdiction, then they file for their tax returns and they do disclose the subsidiaries and branches which are in the UAE, and they pay taxes on their profits or losses, and they account for it on consolidation basis. So if we are doing like that, again we have to provide substantial amount of evidence to prove. It could be the tax returns, copy of the uh, foreign jurisdiction where the parent is registered, or it could be other supporting document in line with showing the proof that the taxes are being paid abroad for the entities based in the UAE. Further in 1E, again, it's I already little bit explained in 1D. I confirm that the licensee is a UAE branch of a foreign company, and all income of the UAE branch is subject to tax in the jurisdiction of the foreign company. So branches is always consolidated on the parent company. And again, if there is a UAE branch of a foreign company, all the profits and accounts will be consolidated on the parent's books, and the parent company must be paying taxes on it. And if they can prove it with the tax authorities of their own country or jurisdiction, then they can claim the exemption on that basis. So moving on to the next part. You need to provide your designated contact information, your name, the name of the manager or could be director or shareholder, and their phone number. And afterwards, it's a preview and submission. You can just recheck your data. So let me just go back and will show you. If let's say I click on 1E, I confirm that the licensee is a UAE branch of a foreign company, and all of the income of the UAE branch is subject to tax in the jurisdiction of the foreign company. So here we need to tell, let's say if it is based in United Kingdom, we need to uh, give the name of the country as a supporting evidence. We need to submit the tax returns, um, like a illegal document from the local tax authorities. It could be HMRC based in the UK, and the foreign tax identification number. It's a unique ID number which tax authorities provide to their companies. So in this way, we need to provide supportive documents in support for exemption. So this is fair enough for the notification, and you just need to press next and to review all the details which you have filed, and before submission, you just need to review and double check that the things are incorrect. So here it is end of for notification. I could now go for economic substance report. So here is the UAE economic substance report template. The reason why I have chosen this in PDF format because it gives more illustrative information rather than on the portal being itself. So again, you will be having a ESR registration number. It will be provided to you, the license name and the same information which we were providing during the notification period. And in part B, again, they will confirm some information from your notification. It's the license register for the VAT. The license is a part of an MNC multinational group, or it is wholly owned by UAE government. Again, it will ask for your branch details if you have in the UAE. If you have, then you have to provide their trade licenses and the licensing authority names and references. The reporting period, we already discussed on it. updated information. If there is any change in notification and you want to update with the MOF, so you can do in ESR report. So here we can provide that. So here it will be about the financial information. So here is the basically a significant part where they will start obtaining the financial information. If you have audited financials, you have to say yes, and you have to provide the currency which you are maintaining your books of accounts, the total revenue of licensing for the reportable period, the accounting profits or losses for the licensing in the reportable period, and the net book value of the tangible assets. Now, here you have to mention which relevant activity you are engaged in. So all activities are there, and you have to tell them who are the regulatory authority. Let's say for the insurance business, the insurance authority is the regulatory body. For banks, the UAE Central Bank is the regulatory authority. And if you tell the, or click on intellectual property business, then you need to also assess your activities, whether it is engaged in high risk IP or not. Now, for this report, we have tailor-made questions and queries for each line of business, which comes under the relevant activity. For banking, let's say relevant income from banking business for reportable period, OPEX, your operating expenditure, average number of full-time employees, or your core generating activities. So it could be different, vary to vary with the relevant activity. Again, it is further information on financials of your banking business. For insurance business, again, there is a first three is kind of same: relevant income, operating OPEX, which you have incurred for insurance business, average number of employees, then your core income generating activities. They want to see what are your basic income generating activities. So they have a list as per insurance business. They also highlight if you are outsourcing to other parties in the UAE. So they want to see how much you are spending on third parties as a outsourcing who can do the core generating 𝐔𝐸𝐿 or income generating activities on your behalf. Then it comes about investment fund management business. So again, here they will ask about your income, OPEX, average number of employees, and the engagement of your core activities. So I will just go through with it. Lease finance. So lease finance is little bit need to be understand properly where the interest element is present. Then we can say this is a lease finance businesses. Other rental like these ones, they are not part of the lease finance business. So while assessing your transactions, and you need to assess even if the subsidiary, even the parent company has provided loan to the subsidiary, and in the agreement it states that the loan will be refunded with the interest, or it is a loan bearing interest. So it is engaged in lease finance business. So there are further questions on it. Let's say loan of number of loans at the end of the reportable period, the value of the loans on the balance sheet, the value of the loan at balance sheet that you have issued to borrower located in the UAE. So these all are tailor-made questions as per your relevant activity, which has to be reported to MOF. And here it comes headquarters businesses, same first three questions is, and 𝐔𝐸𝐿 activities you have to mention. For shipping businesses, again, we have to assess our activities. If we are not conducting these core income generating activities, then we may not fall into the scope of shipping business. So we need to assess your core income generating activities. So holding company businesses, it's quite straightforward. If you are primary purpose of your company or licensee is to hold the shares in other companies, then it will fall under the scope of holding company businesses. And again, we have to provide them substantial information. This is intellectual property businesses. If you are having any safe software, patents, or any intangibles, and you are generating income on the basis of those assets, then you have to account for it. And if you are using the rights of this asset from your parent company or group of companies, then you may fall under the scope of high risk intellectual properties. So here I was defining about high risk IP licensing. So distribution and service center, this is kind of more, you need to make a professional judgment while assessing the uh, nature of your business and transactions. It may fall under the scope of distribution and service center. The prominent difference which was mentioned in the
Hassan, sorry to
revised,
interrupt you. There
yes,
is noise. They are complaining there is noise coming on your background. Please speak.
okay, okay, can you hear me well?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, so what I'm saying for distribution and service center business, there is confusion coming into the minds of the owners and shareholders. If the businesses are providing services to their related company abroad, they fall under the scope of distribution and service center. And the prominent difference from the revised law and the recent law is that even though the goods which are not touching the land of the UAE, but they are transported from the related company abroad to the other party anywhere in the world, still falls under the scope of distribution and service center. So it was a major change in the updated law. All right. So again, this is a tailor-made questions on the distribution and service center. Now they are going to take the ownership information about your parent company. It is just recently which is introduced UBO declaration in the UE. So it's just more likely to be the same information which we need to provide to MOF as well about your parent company, who is the ultimate parent company, because there are layering in the companies, and who is the ultimate beneficiary owner. He's mostly be the individual who is owning more than 25% of the share capital in the licensee. Outsourcing information is required per relevant activity. As I quoted, many companies exist here, many licensee are here, but they are providing the services through outsourced provider. It's a third party who is conducting the SIGA for them. So we need to provide their name of the sourcing provider, address, their VAT number and expenditure, and how many employees they are carrying on in their company. And lastly, it will be about your directed and managed in the UE, how many board meetings you have, and what are the strategic decisions made. And we need to document all the board minutes in the records and maintained in the UE. Again, it will be a same, it's a declaration with your name and designation, and finally about the educate qualified employees, expenditures, and physical assets. You have to provide the details. So for holding companies, there is flexibility not to provide these. And finally, it is a declaration to provide your financial statements. If financial statements are audited, that's wonderful. If not, then management accounts can be attached. And in support of your application, if you want to provide additional documents, it should be attached here with. We recommend it should be translated in Arabic or English rather than providing any other language which may not be able to uh, understandable for anyone. And finally, you have to submit it for your obligation for ESR. So that was all about notification and reporting. And we will proceed towards the question and answer session. Over to you, Mr. 𝐔𝐻𝐝.
Thank you very much. And Miss Ali, are you there? I think Alia.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, then there are some questions leftovers, and would you like to answer them? I think 18th have been answered, and there is question from Tahir Abbas. Can you please advise which relevant activity will follow? I think it is already answered the question, and in the presentation. Sayyid Bezad Raza said, yes, SN branch is paying tax in UAE. Additional 19% is paid by the foreign parent. SN.
Yes, sir. As I told to him that we need to assess, because if they are paying corporate tax on the branch of foreign company or foreign bank in the UAE, we need to analyze that one, because
Fine enough. No problem. He can contact SN. Can you share your email address, and he can contact you or regarding this one.
Okay. No issues.
And then there is enormous attendee said, we are into business of conducting exhibition conference inside and outside UAE. The license is registered in FZ LLC from DMCC and is 100% owned by foreign natural person. Do we need to file the notification? Alia?
Yeah, we need to see your trade license. What is your activity basically? Then
No
I
problem.
can assess.
Okay, fine enough. Then SN, can you share your email address and mobile? So
I already shared in the panelist chat.
Okay, thanks.
So from where he can get it.
Okay. We are into the business of trading coffee machine and coffee capsules in UAE. Only the license is issued by DED and have one local sleeping partner 50%. Is the notification required? I think again.
No, you don't fall under relevant activity.
Okay, fine. Now this is dismissed. Then Omar Iqbal, will intercompany balances come under the finance lease business, considering that now they have included interest-free loans, especially considering if intercompany balances is not due to day-to-day operation, instead it is due to transfer of funds, temporary funding payable. Alia?
Actually, the law says that if you are granting loan for any type of consideration, then it will fall under lease finance business. Intercompany loans, yes. If so, it's yes. Yes, please, Esr, go ahead.
Yeah, so in addition to that one, yes, intra-group loans, if they are having the, if they are attached with the interest element, then yes, it is, yes, you are engaged in the lease finance business, yes.
And this is interest-free loan. This is interest-free loan. So it will not come under that exhibit.
If there is no interest, yes, then it is a simple receivable or payable. So you can just write it off. Contract. Thank you.
That's enormous. We are operating a salon, only operating the business here in UAE. The license should be, so it is not under the.
No, it's not relevant activity.
Yes, okay. Then there is 𝐜𝐻𝐿𝐻. Please advise if all company need to ESR only such. It is in the presentation. 𝐜𝐻, you can go through that one. Not all companies are required to file ESR. Then is Hassan Sabri. We are trade exhibition are working in a free zone subsidiary of UK listed trade exhibition organization. Does our company comes under scope of ESR? We are not directly involved in any listed activity. I don't think that they come because they are only exhibition doing work in UAE. Alia, please.
Yeah, they don't fall under relevant activity.
Yes. Yeah, okay, thank you. Then we are 100%, Mr. Nizar Lilani have, we are 100% owned subsidiary of US company, but did not carry out any activity, now terminated the license. Do we have to file the notification?
Yes, those companies which are under liquidation or wind up, they have to file notification and ESR report for the period in which they perform the relevant activity, like but between 2019 to 2000, like 1st January 2019 to 20, you have to check which duration. You didn't mention the time period.
Okay, they will send you details, they will contact you. Then another Nizar, Mr. Nizar have put, we are branch of UK company, but do not conduct any relevant activity. We need to file notification under distribution and service center business?
No, if you do not perform any relevant activity, you do not need to file notification. You are out of scope.
Okay, thank you. Then there is Walid. If parents in a jurisdiction where only FTA is applicable, where VAT is applicable, where is not corporate income tax like Bahrain, does the branch in UAE need to file ESR?
If parent is in jurisdiction where
Where
VAT,
there is,
any
yeah.
type of tax, it should not be double taxation. That's the point.
Okay, thank you. Then there is Tausif Murtaza. We are into business of conducting exhibition, conference, UAE. This is already answered, I think. This is exhibition one. Okay, dismiss. Then Ashok is there. We are jewelry manufacturing company registered in SAF zone with 4 partners, all UAE resident. Do we need to file notification? We manufacture and sell in UAE only.
We need to assess, yes, from
Yes.
where you are buying from. If the buying you are importing or buying from the other related company, part of group companies, then you may fall under the scope of distribution and service center. So we need to assess in more detail in this.
Thank you, Manoj Hassan.
Thank you.
Then there is enormous attendee. We are organizing exhibition. Again, this exhibition is question is there. We have already put that one. We are conducting exhibition conference. Again, dismiss that one. 𝐔𝐻𝐝𝐿 is saying we are organizing exhibition. Again, exhibition. I think too many similar questions are there. Then we dismiss the 𝐔𝐻𝐿. Okay. Now I think we have answered and all the questions, and if any further clarification is required, you can contact us and we will be happy to assist you in your notification and in your filing ESR. We have expertise in ESR and VAT both, and so kindly do let us know that if you have any further queries. So if something is left over, please contact. I think Ahsan and Alia have already shared their email addresses over here, and you can contact them because the time we have put a time frame on that one. So we'll be closing the webinar, and soon we'll get back to you whenever you have any queries, your answer, and hopefully this will help you out, this webinar. Any closing remarks, Alia, to summarize things, please?
Yes, please just don't let penalty hit you before you are hit. Ask for advice, ask for professionals, check the MOF site, check the guidance. So just be safe.
Ahsan, to you, any closing remarks?
Yeah, that's all good. It's better to have review your assessment of ESR. Notification and substance report is quite easy to file, but assessment is very important. Do not leave this one on the hands of in-house assessment. It's better to get the professional judgment for your assessment of your transactions and business mapping, commercial mapping. So it will help you to assess more in detail. So here we conclude our today's webinar, and over to you, Mr. Asif. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. And then I think they have shared with you the individual email address. Otherwise, info@AAA-cs.com. It is in the chat box written over there. You can write any email onto us, and the contact details are also there. And our office phone number, we have posted that one also, is 04-228-777-4. So in case of any queries, you can call Ahsan or Alia or me, and you can write to us for your queries, and hopefully we'll answer and come back to you. Thanks to you all, and Assalamu alaikum and Allah Hafiz to you. Bye.
Thanks.